friends, I'm just about to wrap up my Halloween layouts, and did you know we're halfway to Halloween 2026? Yeah, that's crazy, huh? But I just wanted to go over what I've done, and I've made some changes to this workshop. The first one I wanted to point out to you is this one here, layout number 3. This is the way the company designed it, and this is what I've done to it. I flipped the pages, so this is the right and this is the left, and that's because my photos were generally looking in this direction and this direction of how I wanted them laid out. This layout here, I used a whole other design altogether. And since I used up some of these papers, I had to be a little creative when I finished my layouts using the Stampin' Up! Patterns. Now, layout 2 was actually my favorite of the whole bunch. I love them all, but I absolutely love this little house. And so I wanted to jazz it up a little bit, and so I wound up using the pattern paper versus the cardstock for my base pages. You can see that here. So I wound up using the pattern Petunia Pop versus the cardstock, and I think it turned out adorable. But again, because I'm using this paper, I'm going to have to be creative with using up the rest of my papers to create 1 or 2 more layouts. Now I print my photos with the Epson PictureMate 400, and when I print 3x4s, I always print them together on a 4x6 sheet just to save paper. And then you need to cut them out. I tend to cut one edge so this one remains matted. I trimmed the remaining white edges, and then I wind up mounting this on one of the 3x4 or whichever size works for you photo placemat holders that come with the kits. Behind the page protectors, you'll never know the difference. Now, the workshop called for a horizontal 4x6 and a horizontal 3x4. And my pictures are both vertical. So that's going to be one difference. And then I'm also going to substitute these little dancing crows on here versus the pumpkin and crows, because I'm going to use that on my last layout, I believe. But these little punch outs, as you can see, they do require some coloring if you want to do so, and I do. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm going to put this sheet together, and I will be right back. So here I have finished the left page of this layout. And a couple differences, since my photos were vertical, I took this strip of paper here and I cut it in half so that it would extend from both ends of the photo. And then I also did the coloring. That was similar or the same as the workshop. And these are kind of messy coloring is what I guess you would call it, which was on the design, and so I replicated that when I did the coloring with the marker. And then to fill in some of this blank area, I did add a couple more bats from the workshop, but everything else is pretty much the same as what the design called for. Now I'll do the right side, and with these I have several more photos than what the original design called for. but we will get these on that paper. My son's cat costume was pretty similar in color, so I thought that would be perfect. But you can see here, they're only using 3 small photos. I think those are 3 by 3. And I'm going to use 5 3 by 4s. And then also for the title, the design called for the Trick or Treat sticker. And I've already used that. So I'm going to take the last sticker that I have from the workshop that is the large title. And it actually says, "Such a treat." And I'm going to cut it so that I can stack it like the design is calling for. So stay tuned and I will be right back. And now I have the right side of the layout finished. I decided to leave this sticker intact and run it across the top because I didn't really have enough room to put it down here in the bottom, which is what the design called for. I did add some different characters here than what was on the original. And I did throw in some glitter gems from my stash. But I think it turned out really cute. And that is the final layout of this one here. Layout 1 of the workshop with slight alterations. Now for my final layout with this paper pack, I wanted to use this paper here. I absolutely fell in love with it. When I said Erin Jacobson had inspired me, she had used this paper to make a wonderful black and white photo layout spread. And while I don't have black and white photos, I do have my son wearing a black and white costume. And so I'm going to use this paper to document Halloween 2000, so many years ago. And I'm going to be using a sketch by our team leader, Cindy Jackson. And so I'm going to put this together and show you what I'm talking about. But just look at this paper here. It is just adorable with the pumpkins, the black kitties in the window. This sold me on buying this paper pack. I'll be right back. Now I have finished finally with all the layouts. I have a little bit of paper left over and some cardstock, but I'm pretty happy with the amount of layouts I was able to get out of this pack. I also pulled in a variety of stamps. I used the Halloween Memories from Stampin' Up, a stamp set from Close to My Heart from my stash, and the Spooky Halloween stamps and dies. I used a variety and sprinkled them throughout these layouts. But here you can see the final product. This will be a flip-flop once it's in its final page protector. And like I said, I love the orange and black tones of these papers. They're just my favorite. I used the back of this photo to do some journaling along with this one. Oops, have it upside down. I'll get that corrected. But anyway, I added some gems from my stash. And I just think it turned out so cute. If any of these products are still available, I'll have them linked down below. If you can like and subscribe to my channel, that'll help me grow. I hope you have a great day and happy scrapping.